that you've been involved in some of the more important decisions
Sure.
dealing with sentencing in the state of Tennessee.
Sure.
Why don't you talk about that from your perspective and the importance of how sentencing can impact the life of an individual?
Well, just this past session, I was able to help get a bill passed that would take, again, the felony penalty off of a possession of small amount of marijuana, ½ ounce or less. Also, I was able to get legislation passed that would increase the value of property stolen to be expunged off your record. The amount stopped at around $900. The governor was going to increase the amount to $2,500 for an E-class felony, but there was no provision to have that amount also expunged. So one of the bills I had passed was to increase E-class felony expungements to $2,500 because the bill had not been changed since 1989. So we were going up on 1989 standards in 2016. The value of things has increased. So we didn't want people to have to be penalized when they get out of prison, right, and not have those records expunged. Secondly, persons were getting arrested and were having their cases dismissed because maybe a mistaken identity or something else happened. But those arrest records were staying on their backgrounds. So you had folks who were not found guilty of anything who were still having these arrest records on their background. We were able to put a provision in which would now require our general sessions judges to ask you on the spot if your case is dismissed, if you want to have your record expunged right there. Last year we discovered that about 128,000 people in Nashville alone still had arrest records going back 10 years.
And without any, and that arrest record would have some impact upon them whenever they went out to get a job or whatever.
Because you apply for a job or a home loan and you're not someone who has served time in jail, so you're not thinking you have an arrest record. So when asked is there anything in your background, you say, well, no, of course not. Then they run a background check and see this arrest record. They say, well, hold on. You were arrested back in 2012. Yeah, but that case was dismissed. Well, right here it says it's still in the books. So we want to allow folks to have the chance to keep on with their life without these arrest records being on the background.
And you know, Pastor, when we talk about the criminal justice system in Tennessee, I think that for a long time you've talked about recidivism, you know, about how people would go and serve. Let's mention that too, because I think that's very, very important.
Well, you know, when you're talking about the recidivism rate, a lot of times in those situations, over 50% of the people that reoffend or that are reincarcerated, let me put it like that, are going back on technical violations. The majority of them go back on technical violations. You know, they may not have gotten a job, or they may have moved without notifying their parole officer or something like that. You know, technical violation, they have to go back in the system, and they have to meet the board again and go through that whole process all over again. So, but the signal that's being sent is that those people that are going back, that the majority of those people are going back, they're going back with new crimes, and they're not. You know, some of them do go back with new crimes, but the majority of the people that do go back into the prison system, they go back on technical violations. You know, and that's something else that needs to be looked at. You know, people need to understand. In other words, they need to understand that. Another thing I would like to see in terms of some legislation that could be introduced and possibly passed is that, you know, when an individual has been charged with a crime, you know, committed a crime. And let me say this: when I got charged with my crimes and when I committed my crime, got charged with my crime, went through the judicial system and was incarcerated, I was guilty. I did it. You know what I'm saying? And no doubt about it, I did it. But now here it is. I'm coming up on August 24th of this year. I'm coming up on 30 years. You know, crime-free. You know, crime-free, drug-free, and all of that. You know, I don't even smoke cigarettes. You know, and it should be something that says, you know, why do I still have to have a criminal record when for the past 30 years, you know, I've been a productive citizen?
There's no way to have that taken off your record.
Absolutely. You know, unless you can go through a process, a clemency process would be an option right there, and in hopes that the governor, you know, would do that. And that's something I plan to do, not under this governor here, but I do plan to pursue that.